Well, I was hoping to go live on Facebook, but for some reason it isn't working. So I had to create this Zoom instead. And I was going to wait for just a few minutes to see if anybody actually jumped on, but I'm recording, so I don't want to wait too long. So here we go. My name is Adam Foster. I go by Mr. Foster because I'm an elementary school teacher. I own three properties in the Lookout Creek watershed, one on Scenic Highway on Lookout Mountain, one on Durham Road on Lookout Mountain. Those two properties connect. They're both in Dade County, and they have some ephemeral wetlands on them. I also live in Chattanooga in Lookout Valley, and I've got about an acre down here at my house, and there is an ephemeral stream that is part of the watershed that runs through my property here. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a K through 5 teacher with Hamilton County Schools. I teach second grade at Spring Creek Elementary. I'm a reoccurring donor to the Lookout Mountain Conservancy, which is active in the watershed. I'm a Reflection Writing member. I need to renew my membership. I put that in as a reminder. And I've done previous organizational work with the South Chickamauga Creek Greenway Alliance and the Tennessee River Rescue. What is a watershed? A watershed is a region or area bounded peripherally by a divide and draining ultimately to a particular watercourse or body of water. Uh, How's it going? All right. So we had a group of people that wanted me to post a Facebook Live video, kind of going over what we talked about at our meeting last night, because I didn't record the Zoom meeting. And of course, Facebook Live isn't working for me, so I just had to throw a Zoom meeting together at last minute. And I made sure to click record this time, so I'm going to record this and upload it, probably YouTube. But I'm going to just blow through this because you probably know a lot of this stuff already, and you're the only one on with me. My name's Adam Foster. I own 3 properties in the Lookout Creek watershed. 2 of them are in Dade County. I own 3 acres on Scenic Highway, and I own another 26 acres on Durham Road, both up on Lookout Mountain in Dade County. I'm a K-5 teacher with Hamilton County. I'm a recurring donor to the Lookout Mountain Conservancy, and I'm a Reflection Writing member, but I need to renew my membership. And I've done previous organizational work with the South Chickamauga Creek Greenway Alliance and the Tennessee River Rescue. So that's just a little bit about me. I grew up in Dade County. I grew up in, all the creeks out there, so I've got an attachment to it. I'm probably going to just skip all this stuff and just
Hey, Adam, can you hear me? Is my thing on?
Yeah, sorry. I can see your video. How about you just tell me what you got going on before I
go? Yeah. Because I'm actually in Atlanta, about to get on a plane, and I didn't want to miss this opportunity to say hello. Okay. So, quick story: Jameson Griffin was 17 years in public education. Most recently, principal at Dade Middle School. Hit a political buzzsaw there. I saw where we both were friends with Ted Alling. When I hit that buzzsaw, just decided to try to do something good. Fell in love with the community. We actually own property in Dade County. My grandfather started the Chamber of Commerce there, started the IDA and DDA many years ago. So a lot of heritage in Dade County. But anyways, we started Scenic Dade Development Company about 3 years ago. We try to do poverty alleviation through the built environment. If you've seen the gateway signs to Trenton, those are ours.
Okay.
And we've raised about 100 to 100. We've raised a little bit of money for our upcoming project. And we've definitely got a philosophy and a way that we kind of a strategy that we go about doing things. So we're trying not to go public with our project just yet, but we're hoping to break ground hopefully February. I mean, I say we don't go public. I mean, the city council knows. They've given us some money.
I think your project must have been what came up in our conversation last night. We had our first meeting last night, and somebody was talking about it, and this sounds like what it is,
Yeah. So our quick, I guess, big picture project is we're trying to do a corridor of development in Dade County, in the city center, and then that's one big 5 to 10 year vision. Our next vision is to do a creek walk from Towns Creek to Sittons Gulch, and there's a 3-phased approach to that project, and we're starting phase 1 right now, which would be connecting Jenkins Park all the way to across Highway 11 to the interstate. Phase 2 would be Jenkins Park to hopefully all the way to Sittons Gulch. And then our bigger vision is to do a creek walk from Sittons Gulch all the way to the Tennessee River Walk. And so that's a 15, 20-year vision. So we've started the conversation.
That's something that I have in my slides. I was like, that's something that needs to happen. And I have no ambitions of being an organization or anything. We are just a group of citizens that are here to support the organizations that are already doing this work. I've got a job. I don't need a job. We're just a group, and I've been talking to probably about a half a dozen people that are, both Hamilton County, Dade County, mostly Hamilton and Dade County residents that are on board with, kind of being like the foot soldiers for the.
Right. I would love to talk further about it. I'm just coming back from Orlando. Yeah, I've got a full-time job too. Lyndhurst is very much supportive of the whole project, but right now they've given us enough money to do the phase one, and it's kind of a test drive grant, to see how far we get. So yeah, I hate to do this. I've got to go. Somebody sent me your stuff, and yeah, I just wanted to try to hit while the iron was hot. So I'd love to get together in person. I live on Lookout. Be home all next week. Be home this weekend even. So I sent you my phone number. Please put it in, and if you don't mind, text me your phone number, and yeah, let's just find a time to meet in person, and I'll give you the slide decks and give you a little bit more history. And just, we definitely need foot soldiers. We're probably a month or two away from launching the project, and I'd love to give you all the details of that. So I know that was
Awesome.
just a waterfall of information, but yeah, I didn't want to leave, get on the airplane before just trying to make connection.
Okay, well, thanks for hopping on, and I'm excited to work with you. I'm really excited about this group, and I will send you my number, and we'll stay in touch.
All right, Adam. Thanks so much, buddy.
All right, take care.
See ya.
Bye. Hey, Bonnie.
Hey, wow, Lyndhurst.
Yeah, so check this out.
That's good.
Yeah.
Get him on, man.
Let's see. So I put some slides together.
Yeah.
And I was hoping, I mean, it kind of got thrown off because that dude contacted me last minute. And these slides will probably end up being just our first meeting anyways. But
it'll be our first meeting. Okay, I was going to say, can you share them with people that aren't on here now? But okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd be able to edit the video down or not.
I know.
But let's go ahead and pretend like I am going to be able to.
Sure, I'll let you know what I think about it.
All right. So this is an information session about the Lookout Creek Coalition. We had our first meeting last night. 3 people showed up, but we have a group of probably about 24 citizens who are interested in making things happen. A little bit about me. My name's Adam Foster. I own 3 properties in the Lookout Creek watershed. 2 of them are in Dade County. One of them are in one I live in is in Hamilton County. They all have some sort of ephemeral wetland stuff going on. I've got a creek on my property, or a stream on my property in Hamilton County, and some ephemeral wetlands on my property up on the mountain.
Right.
I'm an elementary school teacher with Hamilton County Schools. I teach 2nd grade at Spring Creek Elementary. I'm a recurring donor to Lookout Mountain Conservancy. I'm a Reflection Writing member, although I need to renew my membership. And I've done previous organizational work with the South Chickamauga Creek Greenway Alliance and the Tennessee River Rescue. And I kind of want to model this coalition after the work that the South Chickamauga Creek Greenway Alliance has been doing for a long time. So what is a watershed? Because I know some people don't know. I get that question a lot. A watershed is a region or area bounded peripherally by a divide and draining ultimately to a particular watershed, a watercourse or body of water. So here's a nifty image of what a watershed looks like. You've got your precipitation. So our precipitation is falling up on our mountains, and then going down through the tributaries into our creek, and then ultimately flowing to, we can pretend this is the Tennessee River down here, but also the groundwater is part of the watershed. So even people that have well water are, attached to our watershed. So where exactly is the Lookout Creek watershed? It starts down in Valley Head, Alabama, and goes all the way up to Chattanooga, Tennessee. It covers 4 counties, actually I think 5 counties, stretching from Alabama to Tennessee. There's the regional and political boundaries. So you can see all of Trenton is in the Lookout Creek watershed. Most of the western side of Lookout Mountain is in the Lookout Creek watershed, and most of the eastern side of Sand Mountain is in the Lookout Creek watershed. So there are several sub-watersheds of the Lookout Creek watershed. They are Crawfish Creek subwatershed, Dry Creek subwatershed, Gulf Creek subwatershed, Pope Creek subwatershed, Sinton Gulch Creek subwatershed,
I was just there.
and Squirreltown Creek subwatershed. There are several endangered species listed, protected species in the watershed. There's the green salamander, the black-barred crayfish, eastern hellbender, black-side snub-nosed darter, northern studfish, the map turtle, Tennessee dace, dusky darter, and the southern cavefish. So these are all listed endangered or threatened species that are protected by the state of Georgia. And there, in addition to these, there's numerous other species that are in danger of becoming threatened. And these are just the aquatic species. There's also birds and plants and mammals and other land fauna that benefit from this watershed. Hold on, we have somebody else coming in. People are just coming and going. Hey, Amelia. I hope I'm saying your name right. Can you hear us? Okay. So there's various groups that are already present in the watershed. There's the EPA, Farm Services Agency, and the National Resources, National Resources Conservation. I should have practiced a little bit more. I'll be better.
Sounded great to me.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Then the state and local agencies, we've got the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, Dade County Water and Sewer Authority, Georgia Association of Regional Commissions, Georgia Department of Natural Resources, Georgia Department of Public Health, Georgia Environmental Protection Department, I think is what that stands for, Georgia Soil and Water Conservation Commission, Georgia State Parks, TVA, Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation, University of Georgia Cooperative Extension, and then there's non-governmental agencies in the watershed. We have Reflection Writing. Friends of Cloudland Canyon is a nonprofit group that supports Cloudland Canyon. Georgia Land Trust, Limestone Valley RC&D Council. They're the ones that I'm getting most of my information from. They published this huge document in 2014. It's 68 pages. It's really dense, but it's got a lot of good information on the watershed. Lookout Mountain Conservancy and Lookout Mountain Flight Park. So these are organizations that are already working, making things happen conservation-wise in the watershed. Oh, Tennessee River Rescue, forgot about them. And us, the Lookout Creek Coalition. We had our first meeting last night, and this is more of just an information session that I was putting on for people that didn't make the meeting. And the idea was to go live so the video would stay in our Facebook group, but then I couldn't go live on Facebook.
Hey, Adam, did you do Zoom last night?
We did. I think her name's Linda Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah, she showed up and she was involved in the original stakeholders meetings for the watershed management plan. So she owns property in Rising Fawn. She has a farm down there. And
yeah,
so
I know her very well.
Yeah, she was a wealth of information. And I'll kind of summarize what happened once I get to some slides later on. Okay, so there are two areas that have been identified as impaired segments in the Lookout Creek watershed. There's the stretch of Lookout Creek that's in Dade and Walker County. And also, it didn't mention it in this document, but it also goes into Hamilton County. But this was just focused on Georgia, so that's why it just says Dade and Walker. And then the Gulf Creek subwatershed. So it was fecal coliform bacteria that were the reason for impairment in the stretch of Lookout Creek, and that those are caused by livestock, leaking septic tanks, and even some wildlife like Canadian geese can be pretty bad for it. And then with Gulf Creek, there's just been a lot of damage, and so there's impacted biota. So the fish were impacted in that area of the creek, if I'm hope I'm wording this right. And my understanding of what I read was they expect this to kind of get better on its own, that there was some, I guess, some environmental degradation that happened a while ago, but it's, in time, it's going to get better is kind of how I read it.
Can I interject for a second?
Yeah.
So I am actually the person that made that map that you have showing.
Okay.
Wow.
I just kind of happened to come across this on Facebook. And so I did the water quality sampling monitoring in Lookout Creek in 2014.
Nice.
And I helped out with the original watershed management plan. So
Nice.
that's why I was interested in hearing about this.
Wow.
Okay, I've only read it twice, and I'm a 5th grade teacher, so I'm using my interpretation, but I'm just trying to get this information out because like I was following up with like the Dade County government and stuff to see if like anything was going on, and I wasn't hearing from anybody. And I was like, there needs to be some sort of citizens group that's pushing through. And I have about 24 residents of Hamilton County and Dade County that are interested in helping like
Great.
get this stuff going through. So a little bit about me, since you missed the first slide. I'm a 2nd grade teacher, Hamilton County Schools. I own property in Dade County and Hamilton County. I've got a property on Scenic Highway and property on Durham Road in Dade County that have ephemeral wetlands on them that are part of the watershed. And then at my house in Chattanooga, I have about 1 acre. It's in Lookout Valley, also part of the watershed. And I have an ephemeral stream that runs through my property in Chattanooga. So I'm connected. And I grew up in Dade County. So I'm really hoping to, kind of get this information out here and make some stuff happen with it. So if I get anything wrong, feel free to correct me at any point.
I haven't looked at it in several years, so.
Okay. All right. So these were the 2 segments that were identified as impaired. You can see them on the map here, the black stretch of Lookout Creek. And then what I was saying is I can only assume that it continues on to the Tennessee side as impaired also. And then the section of Gulf Creek, the Gulf Creek subwatershed. So when I was reading the document about Gulf Creek, it kind of sounded like it was degraded from agricultural practices and ranching practices, and that's what was going on there, right?
Yeah, so I sampled benthic macroinvertebrates in there, and there was little to no stream bank, no riparian zones, and like I remember sinking up to my knees in muck.
Phew. That's sad. All right. We did have a guy on earlier. He was about to get on a plane, so he jumped off. But he's got a project going on where they're trying to get like a greenway built in Dade County from Jenkins Park to Cloudland Canyon. So that's really cool.
Can I interject something there?
Yes.
It's really interesting because somebody that was just at my house, Jennifer, I can't think of her last name. We're on an art committee thing for Dade County, but she's part of that. She's part of that, and if it's the same, the trail I'm thinking of from Jenkins Park, She said that the Board of Education has kind of poo-pooed it, that other people have been more receptive. I don't know how much you know about that, but it's interesting that you mentioned this. And Jennifer Blair is her name.
Well, he told me, I think his name was Jameson Griffin was the one that hopped on.
Yeah, it sounds right.
He used to be the principal at Dade County Middle School, and I guess we're officially not going to post this video now, but there was some political stuff that kind of got him out of his job there. He was a 17-year public educator, and now he's taking on this like greenway development stuff. And that was one of the things we talked about at our meeting last night, was trying to create some sort of greenway or blueway or something from Chattanooga to Rising Fawn. But so I'm just I forgot where I was in my presentation.
That's
just
Gulf Creek.
Showing the threats yet. So we have animals and their manure and gets in the water, and then they degrade the riparian zone there and cause erosion and sedimentation. So that's bad. I'm nervous now that I have a real scientist.
Don't worry about it.
So we've got inadequate buffer zones throughout the watershed. So part of the work I'd like to do with the coalition is just, we could produce videos on social media to kind of educate people. We can work with the various agencies I'll get to that in a little bit. Let me go through all this stuff first. There's structure density. So I imagine this has probably gotten worse in the last 5 or 6 years with all the development going on. And at the time, the watershed was 70 or 71% forested. So, it's still pretty healthy, but as Chattanooga spreads, the watershed will be threatened. And then here's impervious surfaces. This is like contributes to non-point pollution runoff and stuff from parking lots. And it also makes it to where water can't percolate through the soil. So you have higher stormwater runoff, which is bad for the watershed.
It also increases the temperature of the water that's running off into the streams that can negatively impact the biota.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Sorry.
No, you need to show up at the next meeting and please show up at the next meeting. And
I'm actually in Arkansas. So
okay. What did you see it in the Edge group? Were you part of UTC?
I did.
Okay.
I was a student at UTC, and I'm working on a PhD in Arkansas currently. So
okay. I got my undergrad at UTC. I got a BS in anthropology with a minor in environmental science. But and then I went on to get a master's to teach in schools. So
yeah.
All right, and then all through Dade County, we know about the problems with the septic systems, but I'm sure that's true for Alabama too. And then here at the time of the watershed management plan, these were the companies that had to have the permits for polluting. I don't know how to word it right. For polluting, they had the permits for polluting, but these aren't, from my understanding, these aren't as serious as all the non-point pollution sources throughout the watershed. So let's see. And then here's some other sources of pollution identified in the watershed management plan. Okay, so here are some of the suggestions. Overall objectives. Now I'm going too fast, I'm nervous. Restoration. So, repairing those buffer zones, encouraging best best management practices by property owners, anti-degradation. If it's not already degraded, let's conserve it and protect it. And then education, and that's something that our group can really help with, is like just getting the word out to the community members that, hey, if we don't step up and protect this resource, it's going to be gone. You know, the development is spreading like crazy, you know, and if we don't step up and, you know, protect our most precious resource, it'll be gone. And we can highlight like some success stories in Florida that they've had with their riparian buffer zones down there. And there's a lot of research that shows, like, you know, the further out you allow the buffers, the vegetative buffer zones, the better water quality you have. And it also serves as wildlife corridors. You know, a lot of our my cat's getting on my nerves, sorry y'all.
Cat was getting on me.
But then also just regular creek cleanups, just spreading the word on social media. There's lots of stuff we can do that we can talk about at our meetings. And then we can also just educate people about, you know, best management practices through, like, we can create an Instagram and a YouTube and Facebook and kind of promote some of these best management practices, and, you know, maybe link property owners with resources that they may not know about, that, you know, can help fund some of these best management practices. And so here are some programs that are already in place that were in the WMP that we can help kind of promote, you know, through our organization or coalition rather, to get, you know, people to adopt. And here's some non-structural measures that are already in place. And I'm just blowing through this, trying to summarize everything, but there were some objectives highlighted at the end of it, that they wanted to create a Lookout Creek watershed restoration program. And I have not been able to find out from anybody I've contacted yet if this actually happened. So I've contacted, I think his name's Ted Rumley, the Dade County Commissioner.
Yeah.
And I've contacted, I've heard back from Reflection Writing. They said they're going to follow our work. The gentleman I spoke to wasn't familiar with this stuff. So, you know.
Do you know who's in charge at Limestone Valley right now? Because I know the two people I worked with have since left.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, so I worked with Dan Huser and Josh Smith, and at one point it was a guy named Adam Kennan.
Okay.
There's a contact at Dalton State College that might know who's in charge now.
Okay.
But I know they used to do like 60-40 as best they could for cost sharing.
Okay.
So.
Nice. So, yeah, objective 1 is create a septic system repair cost share program in the watershed. Objective 2 is create an agricultural best management practice cost share program in the watershed. Objective 3 is create a stormwater project and stream bank restoration cost share program in the watershed. Objective 4 is implement best management practices to achieve load reduction specified in the total, help me out here, Amelia.
Total maximum daily load.
There we go. Reduce pollution inputs from suburban and rural areas through education and outreach. And that's really where our group can come into play, you know, by promoting these opportunities. I've got some ideas about that I'll talk about later. And then document changes in water quality through WMP, Watershed Management Plan implementation. And then provide local community member leaders with the knowledge to consider the effects management decisions may have on stream health in the watershed. So, you know, it's important for us to grow this group to where it covers all the different municipalities, you know, that are in the watershed. You know, this is something that Chattanooga City Council needs to be aware of. It's not just a Dade County issue. It's, you know, it's everybody in the watershed needs to be aware of. Every government agency in the watershed needs to be aware of this plan. Okay, and then I sped past it. So this is what I keep trying to find out information on, and I haven't had much success yet. So these were dates that were outlined in the watershed management plan for you know, that are important dates. And you can see 2021 is a really important year. And I read this document for the first time 2 weeks ago, and then I just read it today. And I'm trying to get the word out so that, you know, citizens can kind of follow up with the Dade County government to make sure this stuff's actually happening. If it's not happening, who do we need to call and email to make it happen? So let's see. And then these were some organizations and their roles and responsibilities that were outlined at the end of the document that I read. I've got another page of these. And so I looked up Tree City USA, and the representative from that organization at the time that's mentioned in this document has since passed away. And so a lot of the people that were involved in the creation of this WMP, they've changed jobs. They've been voted out of office. Some of them have passed away. Some of them have moved away. So that's why I'm concerned, because a lot of work went into this, and it would be a shame if it just kind of got flipped to the side. And I don't know if that's what's happening, but I haven't had much luck so far in trying to contact the Dade County Commission to make sure the stuff's still going on. And so what are we going to do about it as the Lookout Creek Coalition? So this is the stuff we talked about last night. We're going to encourage all local government agencies in the watershed to adopt the Lookout Creek Watershed Restoration Program through civic engagement. So what that means is we're going to not only push the Dade County Commission, but we're going to push Chattanooga City Council, Hamilton County Commission, DeKalb. Am I saying that right? DeKalb County in Alabama.
I don't know. It's Alabama.
Yeah, but that DeKalb County. I've heard it said.
DeKalb.
That's how I've always heard it said. I'm glad I said it right the first time. So we want these different. We want these different bodies of government communicating with each other and working with each other to protect the entire watershed. We're going to support the existing non-governmental organizations in their conservation, restoration, and education efforts, and we're going to encourage them to work between each other. That we want to encourage inter-organizational cooperation to protect the entirety of the Lookout Creek watershed. You know, so right now, like Lookout Mountain Conservancy is kind of doing their own thing, and Reflection Riding's doing their own thing, but we want these different organizations to work together to protect the entirety of the watershed. And for example, with Lookout Mountain Conservancy, I would like to bring watershed conservation to the forefront of, you know, the work they're doing. So, and then lastly, we're going to grow our coalition through word of mouth and social media, and a social media campaign. We're going to hold monthly meetings and activities to build community. We're going to elect leaders and vote on common goals for the coalition, like possibly pushing for some sort of blue way, green way, stretching from Chattanooga to Rising Fawn. And now here's my source. This is where I pulled everything from, and they actually have sources in there, so I didn't really do a good job of citing my work. And then this is the question and answer part that I planned on having with everybody about what we're going to do.
Okay. I'm taking notes.
Yeah, it's a lot. And most
So-
likely I'm going to be showing these same slides again at our next meeting, since nobody could really show up today and I couldn't go live today. And I don't want to post this video to YouTube because the gentleman that hopped on earlier said that his project is still not official, but they have secured funding for it. So that's exciting. Love seeing wildlife corridors come into play. Amelia, am I saying your name right? Amelia?
Yes, that's
Thank
right.
you. Thank you for hopping on.
Oh, you're welcome.
I would love it if you could attend our next official meeting. We'll have more people for that. It'll be February 9th at 6:45 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be on
Okay.
Zoom.
What day is that? That's a
Tuesday.
Tuesday. I should be available.
Okay, cool. What
Can you-
work are you doing now? Can you fill us in on what you're doing now?
Yeah, I'm actually, so with my master's, I did that at UTC. I worked with Mark Shore. He should be a good resource from
Okay.
UTC. He's done some fish monitoring in at least Pope Creek within Dade County and Black Creek. So he knows a little bit in terms of aquatics, and he's done water quality monitoring some. But I worked with him on that 319 grant along with Limestone Valley. And then I'm working on a PhD in Arkansas. I'm at Arkansas State University, and I'm doing a 319 grant there as well, where I'm looking at water quality in a highly agricultural watershed.
Okay.
So,
Are you from the area or?
yeah, I'm from Ringgold.
Nice. Cool.
So, yeah, when I saw it pop up, I was like, Lookout Creek. Hey, that's where I did my stuff. I want to look at this.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I know we just have a couple of us on now, but like I said, we have a couple of dozen citizens that are willing to get behind this and be the foot soldiers of the hard work that you've already done. So that's
Well,
the
I
idea.
will say I pulled up Limestone Valley's website, and it looks like they have listed as project managers. They have an executive director named Stephen Bontico. I don't know. A contractor named Hunter Terrell and a contractor named Matt Heath. I'm assuming that the contractors are kind of the replacements for Dan and Josh,
Okay.
because that's how they got paid at Limestone Valley, was through grants.
Right.
So it was contract work. So I'm assuming that's who you would want to be in touch with.
Okay. Noted. All right. Well, Bonnie, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, first of all, would you like us to identify people that might be willing to be on this coalition?
Yeah, that's the main goal right now, is just get as many people as possible.
Well,
That-
Jim is really a good resource, and Jim Wilbanks, he has done this kind of thing before with caving and other groups as far as cleanup and stuff. But I am in touch with Karen at Rising Fawn Gardens, and
Okay.
Josh McKinley and Jennifer Blair are married, and they kind of, I think, help manage it out there. But I think they would be good resources. Maybe Karen too, because wouldn't that come in this?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that would be part of this area, and they are on the ball. Karen is, as far as, I can't think of her husband's name, but they're the owners of Rising Fawn Gardens. So I can give you their information, and Jennifer and Josh. Jesse Potts, you did not go to our school, did you?
No, I went to schools and I went to Hamilton County schools. I
Yes.
grew up, I lived in Dade County, but I
Yeah.
went to Catholic school in Chattanooga, and then I ended up going to public school.
Notre Dame. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Jessie Potts was one of our chemistry teachers, and she's a good friend of mine. She's quite a scientist herself and has done a lot of work with water testing and did it with our students. And they made a wetlands with other teachers in our, like our agriculture teacher and stuff. And they actually, we made a wetlands at Dade County High School. So she might be willing. Do you know Keith Bean? He has a farm in.
Yeah, I know
Wildwood.
him from when I had my farm. Yeah.
So Keith and Katie. Jimmy Caldwell, do you know Jimmy?
I don't think so.
Well, I don't think he has retired, but they live on the mountain now. Do you know where, I'm sorry, I don't mean to bore y'all, Amelia.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Oh, what is the name of that place? It's a lake. They have a house there. They have actually sold their farm in Lafayette and are moving up here, but he does something with fish. Like he goes all over the world, I think, seeing lakes and stuff like that. So kind of in that business in a way.
Nice.
So I don't know if they'd be willing to do anything like this, but I can give you their information. And I would like to invite you when we start meeting again in person, Friends of Cloudland Canyon State Park, to come speak.
Okay.
And I'll just kind of keep you in touch with that. And then I have one more request, and that is for you to remind us on this page of when the next meeting is.
Okay, February 9th, 6:45, and I'll probably create an event in the group.
That's better for me.
Bonnie, could you do me a favor? Because I am still teaching full time, and teaching virtually is super stressful.
I know, it's gotta be.
But could you reach out to those people you just mentioned for me and spread the word?
Oh, no, I will.
Yeah, and you
I'll
can.
be glad to. You shouldn't have to do all that. And I'm the retired one, even though I am an artist and a yoga teacher and a world traveler. But
Yeah.
I can't travel right now anyway, damn it.
I'll make you an admin on the Facebook group so that you can just add people as you see fit, and reach out to them first. I don't just want to add people that I think might be interested without talking to them first, because I want it to be people that are really interested in making stuff happen.
I agree.
And I've got some great people on board. Chris Pratt, he owns like 7 or 8 properties in Lookout Valley. So he's a landlord down here, but he's an environmentalist, and he's a great guy. So I've got him on board. I've got Laura Finch. She owns a huge section of property with like 3 lakes on it, up on Lookout, or really they're, we call them lakes on the mountain, but they're ponds, and then I've just got, several people from down here in the valley and up on the mountain. And I think we're going to get some work done.
Good. Well, I know from being on many groups in my life that you want it to be people that really want to work. So that's why it's better for me to get in touch with them first, feel them out, and then we can invite them.
Right.
If they want, if they're interested.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to let everybody go and enjoy their evening. Thanks for hopping on, and I will I'll hopefully see both of you back here on February 9th.
So long. Nice to meet you, Amelia.
Nice to meet you,
Amelia.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.